Imagine standing on the edge of a new frontier, or deep in a battlefield, knowing that your greatest enemy isn't the opposition or the terrain, but the ticking clock of your own stomach. Before the 19th century, history was largely dictated by what could be eaten before it rotted. Empires rose and fell based on food preservation, and an army truly marched on its stomach, a stomach usually filled with hardtack or salted meat that often caused more disease than nutrition. But what if I told you that a single, humble innovation completely shattered that limitation, turning the seasonality of survival into an engineering problem? It's a breakthrough we completely take for granted today, hiding in plain sight in your pantry. Welcome back to Neuraloop, where we dissect the innovations that shaped our modern world. Today, we're talking about that mundane marvel of science and logistics, canned food. This isn't just about making soup last longer. This invention fundamentally altered warfare, global trade, and the very structure of human civilization. The journey begins in 1795, a time of massive global conflict. Napoleon Bonaparte was losing more soldiers to malnutrition and food poisoning than to Austrian musket fire. He needed a way to feed a massive army on the move. The French government, desperate for a solution, offered a staggering 12,000 franc prize to anyone who could develop a reliable method of preserving food for long military campaigns. It took years, but in 1809, an obscure confectioner named Nicolas Appert claimed the prize. He discovered that if you cook food inside airtight glass bottles, it wouldn't spoil. He didn't understand the why. Microbiology was decades away, but he had accidentally invented sterilization and sealing, the fundamentals of canning. But glass was heavy, fragile, and a nightmare on a bumpy supply wagon. The breakthrough crossed the English Channel just a year later. A merchant named Peter Durand patented the use of tin-plated iron canisters. These tin cans were durable and relatively light. Yet, the first 50 years of canning featured a hilarious, gruesome problem. The tin can opener hadn't been invented yet. Soldiers had to use chisels, bayonets, or even shoot the cans open to get to their dinner. By the mid-1800s, the Industrial Revolution took hold. The demand from the American Civil War solidified the industry, proving the necessity of canned goods for moving massive armies over vast distances. Early cans were still hand-soldered, sometimes leading to dangerous lead exposure, but the military utility was undeniable. By the time World War I arrived, governments were buying entire harvests and channeling millions of cans to the trenches. When those soldiers returned home, they didn't leave the cans behind. The demand for that same reliability and convenience redefined the domestic grocery aisle in the 20th century. This shift democratization of ingredients. For the first time, inland families could eat seafood, and people across the globe could eat summer produce in winter. It reshaped our diets and the very architecture of our modern food system. Understanding the past of a simple tin can help us appreciate the massive technological web supporting our lives today. If you found this deep dive into innovation fascinating, there is a lot more history and science waiting for you on this channel. Subscribe to Neuraloop, follow our page, and like this video to join a community curious about the unexpected stories behind the things that run our world. Your support lets us keep digging.